I see all of these comments. I'm going to answer all of them. But first, I kind of want to give my opinion on the draft here. So let me go ahead and get this camera on me now since the stream quality is good. Okay, we look all right. My face is red. I don't know what's going on with this thing, man. Oh, the camera always messes that up. But anyway, when I say red, it's the fire coming through me because I'm ready to drop it on you right here because I have compiled a list I'm about to put up on your screen. 5 teams that I thought were winners, 5 teams that were just middle of the road, and 5 teams that were losers. And we're going to go through that right now. And then I'm going to take all your questions and look at all the live chat. But I'm going to go through this right now. I'll take your questions, reaction, and I'll just look through the live chat after I put this up on the screen. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so here we go. NBA Draft 2017. Obviously, this is just the first round that I'm doing. And I'm going to refer to multiple places so I make sure that I have everything right because there were some teams that drafted a player and immediately traded that player. So first off, I think winner number 1, and this is in, I guess, yeah, this is in order, but, you know, when it's AAA, I mean, the Kings could also take number 1 tonight because, look, I don't know who's been doing all the drafting for the Kings the past years. Like we all know, they had the chance, and along with many other teams, but I know the Kings specifically had the chance to get like exactly the Warriors team and everything, and they missed the players. Tonight, they didn't miss anybody. So it's a toss-up for the number 1 spot. I'm going to give it to Philadelphia, though. Just barely. I mean, Sacramento was up there with the best of them tonight. But Philadelphia gets an A for me tonight. Obviously, because of the trade they made with Boston, only having to give up a first-round pick in the future to get Markelle Fultz and complete the process, as a lot of fans are calling it now. 76ers fans definitely excited. I believe Embiid is calling it the Feds now because that's Fultz, Embiid. Is that Dario Saric? Ben Simmons, I don't know if that's what it means, but that's his new nickname for it. So 76ers got Fultz. They also got at the 25th pick they got Anzeas Pasninkas, tough name, but they got another center. So not only did they get a number 1 pick, but they got the 25th pick as well, and they're able to pick somebody up there. Now let's get to one of the real winners of the night. Real winners of the night has to be Sacramento Kings. You see them up there. And I'm giving this team a close first, if not the first. Hold up, let me send this out. Okay, so I'm giving the Kings the second overall in terms of winners tonight. You look at who they took tonight. Okay, so Kings have De'Aaron Fox, who they're now a real big fan of Wildcat players on that team, Kentucky. They got Cauley Stein. Now they got Fox. They used to have Cousins, who's another Kentucky guy. I think they got Scal on the team right now, who's another Kentucky guy. I may be missing somebody, but they're real fan of Kentucky players. They do really well with those. And De'Aaron Fox basically fell into their laps at number 5. Or I guess ran, because you know how fast he is. So that's a great pick for them. You know, you take the best available player, and he definitely was. He definitely was, and I'm almost glad they didn't get Josh Jackson, because I just don't know about Josh Jackson. I'll get there. De'Aaron Fox, they needed a point guard. Great pick for them. And then, okay, so this was kind of iffy. They did have the number 10 pick, and they ended up trading it to Portland for the 15 and 20. And it's kind of rough at first because you're like, okay, they passed up on Malik Monk. They could have had De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk. But what they got was value, and it was good value. They got Justin Jackson, who's a proven winner. And obviously, you know, when you look at these young guys, a lot of them are one and done. But Justin Jackson, a junior, experienced young player, if that even makes sense. He's an experienced young player at number 15 for Sacramento. And I think that's a really good pick for them, having him there at 15. And then who they also got at 20 was Harry Giles. And Harry Giles, if you didn't know, he was like the number 1 high school player in the nation, ranked for a long time until he hurt both of his knees. So I'm looking at that, and I really think that Sacramento, that's a big winner. I mean, to get 3 first-round picks, to get that talent, and those are good players. I think at least 2 of those 3 players will be solid players on the team for a long time. I don't know about Harry Giles, but it was a good pickup for them. So Sacramento did very good tonight. At 3, I put Minnesota. I gave them an A on the night as well because, well, they made the Jimmy Butler trade, and that's why I didn't start with an immediate reaction to it, because that trade caused them to... Okay, so think about who they gave up for that trade. They gave up Zach LaVine, who is basically a dunker for you. Okay, he was turning into a really good player, but with the knee injury, you got questions that come up, and he was basically a dunker. So you gave him up. You gave up Chris Dunn, who Chicago really wanted last year and really didn't do anything for you this year, and Lauri Markkanen for Jimmy Butler. And I look at it this way, too. You give up that value for Jimmy Butler, who's way more valuable, absolutely. And if Jimmy Butler was available to draft at number 7, in which they were drafting at, and they essentially drafted Butler at 7 by getting the trade for him, right? If Butler's available at 7, you would take him, right? So they obviously fleeced Chicago in this deal. They ended up, too, with the 16th pick, which they got Justin Patton, a center. I think he's out of, I think that's the guy out of Purdue. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But anyway, man, they still get a first-round pick at 16. And they get Jimmy Butler for essentially the 7th pick. I mean, man, think about that team now. I think that team makes the playoffs now, 8th seed. Let me know what you think. Do the Timberwolves make the playoffs next year? I think they make it 8th seed. Because you're going to have Andrew Wiggins, Jimmy Butler, Karl Towns. Figure out who you want to put at point. If they still got Ricky, I think they could put him there. But anyway, that team just got some depth. It's a really good team. Lakers could make the playoffs this year against the Warriors now. I don't know about that. I think they got to get Paul George if they want to do that. Now it's serious. They got to try to find out how to get Paul George. But anyway, that was the big trade of the night. I saw rumors about Paul George too, but the Jimmy Butler trade went down. Okay, so Lakers, who I'm talking about, here we go. I put them at 4. I put them with an A-. I gave the Lakers an A-. I didn't just give them an A. Lonzo Ball, obviously, I think he's a really good prospect. I just think his dad's put so much pressure on him that even if he averages like 15 points a game next season with 5 assists, we'll all view him as a bust, even though that'd be great rookie numbers. So Lonzo, unfortunately, has that going on for him. And then the Lakers, besides getting Lonzo Ball, they also picked up a couple other players in the first round. They got Lonzo Ball and one other player in the first round. They got Josh Hart, a shooting guard at 30 out of Villanova. Another, if you want to call it experienced young guy, if you want to call that a thing, Josh Hart, that's your type of guy right there. So Lakers also with a very productive and great first round. I got Logan out here saying they traded D'Angelo Russell, so they messed up. You know, I was a big D'Angelo Russell advocate, but if I think about that trade, and in my previous video, I don't think it's far from reality, even though it is a fantasy right now, where I had Paul George, LeBron, and Lonzo on the team in 2018. What they did essentially with that Russell trade is clear up the cap space needed in order to go get Paul George and LeBron James. So, because Timofey Mozgov's contract was terrible, and so they got rid of that. They get rid of Russell because they're bringing in Ball. They got Ball, Ingram, and maybe they'll trade for Paul George, and then they could bring in LeBron. So that's why they did the trade. I think it will work for them in the long run, because if you look at it really, if they were to keep D'Angelo Russell and Timofey Mozgov, no opportunity for LeBron in the long run. Plus, they weren't helping you before, so I don't really see how that would be good to keep them. You know what I mean? D'Angelo, we don't know on him. I think he's the biggest one you had to give up. But if you can get LeBron in return for that, and possibly even Paul George, then you do that deal every day. Okay, let's move on. I put the Mavericks at 5 with an A-. And really quick, I'll answer Logan's question here. Who's better, Lonzo Ball or D'Angelo Russell? I think in the long run, Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball's got a greater potential to do greater things than D'Angelo Russell. I think he's a better passer. He's taller. He's longer. I think he's more athletic. Runs the floor better. Can get more teammates involved. More people would want to play with him. Can shoot almost as well. So I'd take Lonzo Ball. And I was a big D'Angelo Russell advocate. When he said he was the best in the draft, I truly believed him. But this is a move for the future for the Lakers, and I'm not denying the future just to keep D'Angelo Russell. Okay, at number 5 on my list, I had the Dallas Mavericks. Reason being why I had Dallas at 5. And keep in mind, I don't have any water, so if I cough, it is what it is. Dallas stole Dennis Smith. Dennis Smith Jr. at number 9. You know how good this guy was in high school, and then he kind of did not get the attention because he went to NC State. But this guy is underrated, very good shooter, extremely athletic, and although that was their only pick in the first round by the Dallas Mavericks, the 9th pick to go snag Dennis Smith when I thought he could have gone as low as number 6 to Orlando. Dennis Smith at number 9 is a steal, and I think he's one of the most underrated players in this draft that you're going to have to watch out for. This is like the Steph Curry situation going on, and I'm not saying he's as good of a shooter as Steph Curry, because he's not, and I don't think he ever will be. But here's a point guard that's slipping late, and he goes around that 7 to 9 range, and you got to watch out, man, because this guy's coming in. The expectations aren't super high on him, and I think he's going to ball out. Just wait. Give him a couple years. I think he's one of the main players in the league. Dennis Smith Jr., man, out of NC State. Okay, so now let's move on to the teams in the middle who I thought just were kind of so-so. They were average. Okay, so in the middle, as you see here, out of round 1, the round 1 picks, right? Because that's all I had. That's all I can evaluate right now. I think the average players from round 1, and these players are teams, right? Average players in this draft, teams, I'm referring in this case. So Boston, I put at the top of this list. So I gave them a B+ on the night, and I gave Boston a B+ because, well, essentially they passed on Markelle Fultz. And like I told you, they may think they want to go in the direction of Isaiah Thomas, but I don't think Isaiah Thomas is a max player, and I think you saw the maximum potential that team can go with Isaiah Thomas at the helm just because he's, I hate to say it, but he's just too short. Like, he's a short ball-dominant point guard, and you saw when he went out against Cleveland, yeah, you could say Cleveland wasn't prepared or they didn't prepare as well and all that for that Game 3 of the East Finals, but they won that game, and the ball was moving a lot more, right, with no Isaiah Thomas out there. No disrespect to him. Like, this is not disrespecting him at all. I just don't think they can go much farther with a 5'9" point guard at the helm. So I would have taken Markelle Fultz at 1 and not looking back. But they didn't. They took Jason Tatum at 3. And I'm still giving them a B+ on the night because Jason Tatum is a pure scorer. And this guy's got long wingspan. You know, I don't like to compare the small forward who is long to Kevin Durant because that's the popular comparison, right? Oh, you're a small forward and you got a long wingspan and you're tall and you're close to 6'10" and everything. Oh, you're KD. No, he's more muscular than KD was at that point in his career. I think he's a pure scorer, very good shooter, and this is what Boston needed. I think they're going to look back at this draft many years from now and be thankful that they didn't take Josh Jackson because they already got too many players like Josh Jackson on that team. And speaking of Josh Jackson, okay, I put the Suns right behind Boston at a B+. But here's my thing on Josh Jackson, man. First off, if you got the name Josh, you got to be okay, right? So, you know what I'm saying. But I think Josh Jackson, he's one of those cases where he's either going to be a star or a bust. I don't think you get any in-between area with this guy because he was so highly touted going into this draft, and he's got expectations on him that if he just turns out to be just a good defender, like a Tony Allen even if he's just a really good defender but not much offensive game, I think we view him as a bust, right? Because he's got the expectations on him. Like, he's got to be good offensively, and he doesn't have that jump shot. He's a poor free throw shooter, And I like Josh Jackson, but I just feel like he's one of those guys that we can look back and say, wow, why was he so highly touted? Because if he doesn't get that offensive game and doesn't get that jump shot, man, it's going to be hard for this guy, because the only guy that could do that was LeBron, right? He didn't have a jump shot coming in, but he was LeBron. Like, he was that good. Josh Jackson isn't that good. Josh Jackson needs a jump shot quicker than LeBron ever got in his career, and he needs it pretty much now, because he's got star bust potential. There's no in the middle with Josh. That's my thought on him. Okay, so next on the list I had Charlotte, and I gave them a B on the night. I gave Charlotte a B on the night, and that was because they picked up Malik Monk at 11. So many people passed on Malik Monk, and I know he's thin and all that, but this guy shoots from anywhere, anytime, and he gets you buckets at any time. Clutch player. You saw him in the tournament, and players with a proven clutch gene. I like that, man. I like that. And we saw that out of Malik Monk. This is a clutch player. This is a guy who can go off, get you 30. Great addition to Charlotte. I mean, all of a sudden, Charlotte's team went from Kemba Walker and I can't name one other player to Kemba Walker, Dwight Howard, make what you want of Dwight Howard, and Malik Monk. And I feel like that's a step in the right direction for them. He's going to have MJ there. MJ's going to be able to do whatever he does with the players and help them out. But anyway, I think Malik Monk's a great pick for them at 11. A lot of people passed on him. And we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But I think that's a great pick. Okay, next up I had Utah with a B-. Utah actually made a couple of good pickups in this draft. So the Nuggets drafted at number 13. They took Donovan Mitchell, sophomore, out of Louisville. And he's one of those athletic two guards who can hit the occasional three. So I thought he was a really good pickup for Denver. I was like, okay, they're going to have Moutier, they're going to have Donovan Mitchell. Like, they're making stuff happen. Like, Denver is seriously out here doing some work, but then they end up trading it to Utah. And immediately I thought, they're probably prepping for a Gordon Hayward departure. That's what I thought. And I don't know if Donovan Mitchell is that quality of player or can ever be like Gordon Hayward, but that's nonetheless, I mean, a good piece you're going to have. And then I believe they did get one more. Yes, they got 28. They got Tony Bradley, a center. So they got two quality picks in this first round. And they really took it from Denver. I mean, Denver didn't really end up with anything extremely noteworthy. So Denver really lost out in the end here. And I think Utah scored. Okay, so Oklahoma City, I put them last on the kind of so-so, but I'll give it to you. B- for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the reason being is because they took this guy right here, Terrence 2K Ferguson, at 21. Like, he fell that far. And I'm telling you, these guys are just trying to make their money right out of high school the way it should be going into the NBA. I mean, if you can enlist into the military at 18, you should be able to enlist into the NBA at 18. But anyway, they're going to be redoing those one-and-done rules. I got a video on that coming out soon. Aaron Gordon actually tweeted at me saying how he would have come out of high school. So I got a video on that coming out soon. I really want to give my thoughts on that. But anyway, 21, Terrence Ferguson, just because he went over and played in Australia, man, it's like that's going to damage your stock? I mean, you're playing pros over there. I mean, it's pretty much the same as college competition over here. I think it's a great pickup for the Thunder at 21. They got Oladipo, they got Westbrook. Ferguson can kind of shoot it. He's another really athletic guy. I think it's just going to make that team more fun to watch. Hopefully they can get some three-point shooters over there in Oklahoma City to help Westbrook out, because it looks like he's going to be stubborn and not go anywhere. So that's how it's going to go. Okay, let's move on to the losers. I mean, these teams took some massive L's tonight. I mean, big-time L's. Of course, starting us off, Chicago Bulls, man. They got fleeced in the Jimmy Butler trade. I give them a D on the night. Fleeced in that trade, and then if you go ahead and I'll read off who they got here. Okay, so they gave up Jimmy Butler for Lauri Markkanen. I mean, because we could basically look at it that way, right? They got Lauri Markkanen in place of Jimmy Butler and Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn. Okay, so they got a couple of mid picks, right? And that was their only pick in the first round. And they gave up Jimmy Butler for that. I just don't think it's worth it. I think they were the worst on the night. I feel like, I heard that they didn't get any other trades that were as good as that for Jimmy Butler, but man, at that 7th pick, they could have had Dennis Smith. I mean, they could have had Malik Monk. They could have had any of these guys. I don't know why they take Lauri Markkanen. I don't know. I'm not too high on Lauri Markkanen because at the 7 range, I mean, you're still looking for a potential star. And Markkanen is just not that guy. And you had one in Jimmy Butler, and you gave that guy up to get that guy. I mean, that doesn't work. Okay, next up I had Portland with a C-, just because of that trade they made with Sacramento, because that was just not good at all. I mean, you look at this. They made that trade with Sacramento. They gave up, I don't know if they had the 15th and 20th, but that was involved in the trade, and they only get 2 back for that. And they get the 10th, in which they take Zach Collins. They could have had Malik Monk. I know they have C.J. McConnell up there, but man, I take the best available player, Malik Monk. I mean, come on. They take Zach Collins, and I don't know if they're trying to play 1980s basketball and pair him up with Nurkic and have 2 big guys on the court at the same time. We know from the Los Angeles Clippers that does not work, does not even get you to a West Final. So, hey, if that's your chance to, if that's your plan to beat the Warriors as the 8th seed next year, bro, it's not going to happen. So Portland, I'm not sure what they're doing with that 10th pick. And then they take another big, Caleb Swanigan at power forward at 26. I don't know. That just kind of doesn't make sense to me, man. I'm not sure what they're trying to do up there. Trying to play the old style of basketball. Drafting all these big guys doesn't really make much sense to me. I don't know. Does it make sense to you? Okay, obviously you got the New York Knicks. I don't know. Ask Phil. What are they trying to do over there? What are they trying to do? Because they could add Malik Monk. He said he wanted to play in the triangle. But no, they take Frank Nitikila, right? Nitikina, whatever. French guy. I mean, the only things he's got going for him, he played the same league that produced Tony Parker, and he's playing for the championship tomorrow night in the French league, but I don't know, man. I feel like you had better talent on the board at that point. Like, why? Why would you take him at number 8? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. And they wanted a wing. They wanted Josh Jackson, apparently. So they could have taken, like, Monk or... I don't know. They could have taken somebody else. I just don't really understand the Frank pick at 8. I mean, it doesn't really make much sense to me. This guy, you don't know how polished he is. All I'm hearing is that out of Fran Fraschilla, and all he does is basically scout these European guys for a living. He says he'll be a solid player, but no all-star potential. So it's like, you really want that in New York? Like, man, I don't know what they're doing over there, man. Next headline might be Kristaps getting traded. All right, Nuggets C-. Yeah, let's talk about those Nuggets. What's up, George Williamson? I see y'all out here in the chat. Let's talk about those Nuggets, man. I got them way down on my losers board right here with a C-, arrow going down. The reason for that is because, okay, they had Donovan Mitchell. Would have been great to pair him up with Emmanuel Mudiay. You got some really explosive athleticism there on that team, but nope, they trade him to Utah. Okay. And then at 24, they take a power forward, Tyler Lydon. First off, they messed up big time by trading away Nurkic last year for Plumlee. Not sure what they were trying to do there. And then they try to take Tyler Lydon, guy out of Syracuse, and I don't see much star potential there. I don't know, man. I mean, why wouldn't you be drafting for the best players that could potentially be stars? I mean, you got a chance to take Donovan Mitchell, an explosive 2-guard, but you take Tyler Lydon, power forward. I mean, are they short at the power forward? I feel like they're short at a lot of positions, and Donovan Mitchell could help them at the 2-guard. They had that, but no, they gave it to Utah, a rival, a competitor. I don't get it. Doesn't make much sense to me. I don't know what the Nuggets be doing out there tonight. And finally, actually, wait. I messed it up when I said I had them far down on my board. I did not have Nuggets second to last. This is backwards. The Bulls are the worst, right? Trailblazers were second to last. Then the Knicks. Nuggets were 4th worst. 5th worst. Orlando Magic. I gave them a C. And some people might be like, whoa, because I've had a lot of people come tell me that they like Jonathan Isaac out of Florida State. Like, they like Jonathan Isaac. They think he's going to be a good player. They think he's one of the most underrated. No, Dennis Smith is more underrated. Malik Monk got passed on. Jonathan Isaac, he's a small forward / power forward. He's athletic. But they already have like him, right? They already got Aaron Gordon. To my knowledge, they still have Vucevic, right? Like, they still have those guys. So why do they need another guy that's like that? Because I feel like Jonathan Isaac is just like another Aaron Gordon. Why do you need that? Is he? I don't think he's a shooter. I hadn't seen any of them shooting. I just see the athleticism. So I don't really understand Orlando there. And then that is their only pick in the first round. That's it. And they take Jonathan Isaac. You got to look at the guys still left on the board. Dennis Smith still left there. Malik Monk still left there. Okay, those would be the two main guys. Maybe even Kennard. But I don't know, man. I don't know if Jonathan Isaac... I don't know if I'm feeling Jonathan Isaac with that pick. I don't know. I just feel like they already got too many guys like that. So anyway, that's my final grade assessment of the 2017 NBA Draft first round. Who knows? Maybe they could steal some players in the second round and increase their ratings that I gave them. The Warriors got Jordan Bell in the second round. Like I said, I won't bring that up anymore. That's it. It's a great pickup for them. They just bought him. Seriously, they just bought him. I mean, Bob Myers doing his thing again, man. That team knows what they're doing. You know who else knew what they were doing tonight, man? 76ers, 2 first-round picks. Best available player they took in the draft, Markelle Fultz, starts the process. We'll see how that goes. That's got a lot of hype behind it. Sacramento Kings, the big winner tonight, man. Big winner tonight, Sacramento Kings. Great job. Like I said, I don't know who has been picking for them in the past couple of years, but the dude finally decided to make some good picks tonight. They got Frank Mason in the second round, too, man. That team knew what it was doing tonight. Minnesota fleeced Chicago. They knew what they were doing. They get an A on the night. Lakers got their ball. They also got Josh Hart. I give them a clean A- because I still need to see what those guys can do in the league. And then Dallas, man, Dennis Smith Jr., don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on him. So anyway, that incorporated pretty much all the teams, all the players. If you have any more questions, then I will answer them. Anyway, I see you guys out here. So thank you so much for coming out tonight. I'm already got people on here signing off. This must be, this is late East Coast right now. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this draft special. Let me know if you watched it on YouTube. Leave your comments. Comment section down below. I'll be back with more videos soon, man. It was a good NBA draft. I think it's a deep draft. I think you're going to have players that even into the second round, they're going to make an impact going forward. This is definitely a very deep draft. Players going into the 20s in the first round that I think are going to be really good down the line. But you'll look at these guys really quick, man. We like to think of them like, we don't want to think of any of these guys like they're going to be a bust, you know. But one of these guys in the top 5 is going to bust. Like, one of them has to, right? Like, has there ever been a draft where all top 5 players have all been like stars, main people in the league? I think Markelle Fultz is going to be. Well, I'll give you real quick before I leave. I'm going to run through these top picks really quick and tell you which ones I think are going to be stars, solid. Yeah, I'll go with stars, solid, or bust. So Markelle Fultz, I think he's got star potential. Could end up just being a solid piece on that team. But at the same time, like, we consider Klay Thompson like a solid piece. He's a star. So anyway, he could be in that category. Lonzo's got all the pressure on him, so he's either going to star or bust. Like, there's no in-between. LeVar took that out. Jason Tatum has the potential to be a star, but he can end up just being a solid player on that team. Josh Jackson, like I said, he's star or bust, man. He's got to develop that jump shot, get that offensive game. Because if he's just a defender, I mean, why are you drafting just a defender at number 4? Anyway, I think he could be a great piece in that running gun offense. Like I said, he's got the name Josh, so that makes me want to think that he's going to be a great player. But, we'll see. I think he's star or bust. De'Aaron Fox, man, I really hope he turns out in Sacramento. Sounds like he wants to be there. Not a lot of guys sound like they want to be in Sacramento, but it's a good thing when you get some guy who's committed, wants to be there. I think he's got star potential, and I think De'Aaron Fox, Lonzo Ball, I'm going to have a video come out on that too. The LA Kings rivalry, when these teams are really good in like 5 or 6 years, hopefully, right, and they're going at each other at the top of the Western Conference, like this is the time when the Warriors are already done and everything, like 5 or 6 years. Hopefully longer for the Warriors, but anyway. Some of you don't hope so. I do. But anyway, when these teams are at the top of the West and they're battling it out, sort of like they did in 2002, right? Before the refs, you know what the refs did. But when these teams are battling it out, man, you got Weber, Bibby, Christie going at Shaq, Kobe, you know what I mean? Lonzo Ball, De'Aaron Fox. This is what the NBA needs right here. Young guys who are looking to go at each other. We have not had this in the past drafts. You got guys who are really competitive against each other in college, now are on rival teams in the Pacific Division of the Western Conference, going to see each other 4 times a year, going to hopefully one day go at each other in the playoffs. Hopefully they're both main players for their teams. I think the De'Aaron Fox-Lonzo Ball rivalry, I think that's got something cooking up, man. I see something there. Saw it in college. De'Aaron Fox got the best of him. Let's see if Lonzo Ball can do that in the NBA. But De'Aaron Fox, man, really interested to see what this guy's going to be. The biggest sleeper, like I said, Dennis Smith. Malik Monk, underrated. And anyway, Terrence Ferguson at 21, too. I think it's a great pickup for the Thunder. Another exciting piece. And then Josh Hart at 30. Like, that dude, he does, play off the last name. He does have a lot of heart. Draft better than the finals. I see you out here, George. Well, the Cleveland Cavs fans would say that, right? And your team wasn't even in the draft. Whew, your team, man. I don't know what's going to happen to Cleveland. Sounds like a lot of turmoil over there. Anyway, I would not have woken up today and thought Jimmy Butler was going to be a Timberwolf. What? Anyway, I think that team can make the playoffs now. 8th spot. But now you're going to have, you're going to think of this. You're going to have Timberwolves. You're going to have Pelicans. They're all going to be fighting for that 8th spot. And if the Clippers can just break this thing up, then possibly you'll let one of these other teams in. But anyway, we'll see what happens. I think it was a really great draft tonight. Great potential down the line of all these guys in a deep draft. I think you're going to see some of these guys emerge in the second round and be main players on their team, similar to the Draymond Green situation. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Subscribe, leave more feedback. Share this video. I got more videos coming out soon. Make sure to stay tuned to the channel. Thank you so much for all the support lately, man. It's been Topic Tackle with JC3, and I am out.